What's up, guys? This is gonna be God Month, 3 out of 4 this time, and I'm gonna have a leader where I broadcast, or the leader I played was Oob. So this video is gonna be segmented into two parts. The first one is gonna be the deck profile part, which is gonna be right this video, and the second part, which I'll link into some description or somewhere, where I will have just the pure matchups. It's going to be in fast motion, and it's also going to be with music, so you don't have to waste all your time and stuff. So if you just don't like the music, you can just mute it, but it'll show you my matchups for it, and you can just see if you like it or not. So my matchups were, I wrote it down somewhere. My matchups were, I played one Hercule. That matchup was pretty good because of one of the cards in my deck. And then I played two Soul Strikers, which is pretty challenging for me. I won one out of the two. And to be fair, I played against Brian Samuels. He's pretty good at playing any deck. And then I played Shenron, and I won one of the two for that one. And then Glow and Frieza, which I lost because of Cold Bloodlust. And then I played against a Broly deck, and I played against Black Mass Saiyan, which I won. So there's a lot of yeah, this is a really good leader because he's a world martial art leader. So here he is, and being able to access all the world martial art cards, he's very efficient at drawing a lot of cards, digging deep into your deck, and so that means you can play less of redundancy in your deck in order to capture or to deal with different situations. So his ability on the backside is also pretty good too. So, but I'll go with that into the deck profile a little later. So I went to 2 tournaments for this. I played at the BCC Cup, and I didn't do so well for that one because I think I didn't prepare enough for certain matchups, namely the hand control Shenron being one of them, and I didn't prepare against Soul Striker either. So I was mainly prepared for Storm because it's the most dominant deck right now, and I prepared against any deck that plays awe-inspiring Vegito, such and such. So you'll be surprised at what I play in this deck. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. It's one of my, I think Oob is one of the best blue leaders just because he has access to world martial art stuff. But if in the future, if it comes out with more blue martial art leaders, I think he's going to be very, very versatile. I mean, it can be a very good leader as well, so it depends on their ability as well. So you have to take into those into account too. So now we're going to go into the deck profile piece. So I'm going to start with the meeting ground of the deck, just so that you can know what the deck kind of does for most of the matchups. So the meeting ground of the deck is definitely Awe-Inspiring Vegito. So if you're going to play a blue leader and you're not going to play any other color that actually contributes to the battlefield or battle card area, I definitely think that you should be playing Awe-Inspiring Vegito just so you can survive big things. So this is a anti-storm engine, or not quite an anti-storm engine, but he being to stick this on the board as early as possible is something that Storm has to deal with, and since he's a 20k base stat, they have to waste so much more resources trying to get to your life. So I definitely think you should be playing Awe-Inspiring Vegito in the Storm matchup or Storm format, where it's heavily dominated. I regret that I didn't get to play any Storm in the 2 tournaments, but testing with it on Untap is very useful in that regard. So yeah, so you definitely want to play Awe-Inspiring Vegito. He also draws you a card, which is really nice. So the main engine of this deck is the Hercule Pan combination. These 2 combinations here allow you to essentially, Hercule here has barrier. So I'll read out the card for you guys. So Hercule says, when Pan, Proudest Daughter, is played into the battle area, draw up to 2 cards, and at the end of the turn, choose one of your energy and switch it to active mode. So he makes it so that Pan becomes a 3-drop, simply because she costs 4, and Hercule untaps 1 energy. On top of that, he sticks on the board pretty well because he's a barrier card. So very few cards in this game still not interact very well with barrier, and even if they do interact with barrier, they still have to deal with the blue part of the engine, which is being able to have resources to back him up on the defense. So even if they attack cards in active mode, I can use cards in the deck to save him. So a cool thing about him is if you have 2 Hercules on the board, and you play a Pan, you get to draw up to 4 cards and untap 2 energy at the end of the turn. So he has kind of like a pseudo, it makes Oob, being the only blue martial art leader, to be like a pseudo SS3 leader, because he untaps energy at the end of the turn. So, but he's not quite like SS3 because you don't have the increased energy ramp. So yeah, that's pretty cool about that. So you can draw up to 4, or if you have 1 Hercule and you play 2 Pan in 1 turn, you can draw 4 cards as well and untap 2. So it really depends on your situation at the moment. Sometimes my opponent will get me down to like 4 or lower, being unawakened, and on my turn I can actually use the ability, or I can use the untap 2 ability to really push on certain turns. So sometimes I'll play a Hercule on turn 3, assuming so I'll play on turn 3 and they'll get me down to like 4 or lower, and then the next turn I charge 1 energy, and then I can play Pan and then tap out 4, and then I can unawaken. I think I did this one in one. I can awaken, untap 2, attack with Oob, play 2 Sensu Beans, untap 2, and so then I'll have 4 energy again. I can play the second Pan and then draw 2 more cards and then untap 2 energy with 1 Hercule. So it's really sick what you can do with this deck, and so you can see it pretty clearly. So another reason why I play this is because of her ability too. Her ability says that she's both a dual attack and a double strike, and when her grandfather is in play, she gets a +10 permanently, not just on your turn but on your opponent's turn. So she's a 15k base stat, but with Hercule on the board, she becomes a 25k dual attack double striker. So it's basically you're playing 2 25ks on the board in 1 turn that draws you 2 cards, up to 2 cards, and untaps an energy. So she makes it, this little combination here is really like game winning in a lot of cases. So I really think if another blue world martial art leader were to be released, this combination would definitely be a very sought after engine to capture the victory. Being able to attack twice and dual attack is really good. The only downside about Pan is that she's a 10k shield, so it makes my deck building reduce in the amount of 10ks I play in the long run, because you don't want to have too much. Even though you're playing a blue leader that can tap a lot of energy, you just don't want to have too much 10ks in your deck. So that's the only downside to this little combination. But other than that, it's pretty good. If you play against the Cell matchup, Hercule can definitely, if you play against Hercule, you can just stick him on the board, and then Cell or Android, the Cell chain can't interact with them, and you can recover if you can keep 1 Pan in your hand, and then play Pan and then draw 2 cards extra. So and then you can swing and then make them waste more resources. So really good little combination. And you definitely need 4 Hercules, because you need to be able to stick 1 on the board, and then you definitely need 4 Pan. I don't think you can play any less than that, unless you can play more. Okay, and then now I'm gonna go into 2 of, and I think it's the only 2 of in my deck, which is Majin Defiler. So like I said before, it's like it's like a storm heavy format. So playing Majin Defiler helps you get to your Vegito quicker. So that's the main reason why I played her. You can do a lot of weird tricks with her too, but I haven't been able to find those tricks yet. So yeah. And then my 1-ofs, I play 1 Beerus. I really like this card as a blue card, just because he's a 25k base stat, but he also can nuke energy, and he can also nuke battle cards, and etc, etc. And if he stacks, you can really do more damage. So I only play 1 because I don't need more than that. And then I play 1 Yajirobe. I played him for the reason of against Shenron, if they give something triple attack, or they are reluctant to give something triple attack, because I can just block it and kill it without it without me dying to that battle card that has triple attack. I was thinking about playing Group Leader Pilaf in this deck, but there was just no room, so I had to like think of a card that can deal with Shenron. You can also use this against what was the Demagra too. So the SCR Demagra is one of the other decks that, the card that you can deal with just Yajirobe itself. So because Demagra doesn't actually deal with cards on the board, he deals with cards in the hand. So, and then to help me awaken for the blue aspect that's searchable, I play Awakening Talent Pan. Really good because you can just get her back to your hand at the end of your turn, and then if they try to stall you out on Awaken, you can use something to help you awaken faster. For one of my finishers is at all costs Vegeta. I really like this card just because he can also help you awaken quicker. But the other reason you can use him for is to deal with Crisis Crusher. I think this deck has in the tournament I found out that being against Crisis Crusher, it's very difficult to deal with. So I have very few removals in this deck. It's more like a ramp strategy, and you play your big threats, and then they have to scoop after that. So I think he's a removal for that card because you need your 1-drops to stick on the board to draw a bunch. So yeah, I play one of that, and he has Trouble Strike, and you know how good he is. And then of course you have to play this guy. So a lot of people at my locals have noticed that I'm playing World Martial Arts month, and they're all playing around this guy. So they simply just don't charge after turn 5. So against most decks it's good, but against Soul Striker it's not because they can live at being at 5. So this causes a mental game where nobody charges to 6, and that's good for me because if they charge to 6, then they have more access to more bigger threats. So that's why I just have one in my deck just as a mental. I don't even have to play him, but I have to play him. So I don't have to play him to have that mental game just because I'm a World Martial Art leader. So they have to play around him even though I might not even play him. So really good card. I've stolen a game with this when I shouldn't have, and I could have stolen a game, but it was the last card in my life. So and I couldn't grab it obviously. So that could be an unfortunate situation, but it's highly improbable. So yeah, I get against Brian Samuels. This was the last card in my life, and had I had it on the swing turn, on my last turn that I could have played him, I would have been able to outright steal the game from him. But I couldn't steal the game because probability wasn't in my favor. So that was the blue aspect. And then I'm gonna go into my super combo choices. I played only 2 of the top of this game, Son Gohan. He's decent because you can use him at 5 life, and he's fetchable by one of the announcers. And then I played 2 of the Son Gohan Great Saiyan Man, Town Hero. I really like the fact that he's a 10k combo without even having a certain amount of requirements, so you can just play him at any time. So that's why I played 2. And then of course the sparking. I don't really play overwhelm cards, so this is fine. I can play him. If I did play overwhelm in this deck, I might just swap him out for the King Kai, just because overwhelm requires me to have, or it takes out all the cards in my drop area, and then makes them less useful. So those are my super combos. Of course, you have to play Senzu Bean. I'm not even going to go into why. It's just a staple and helps you. It's best defense and offense card in this game. And then I have 4 Objection. I think it's still one of my favorite cards in this game. Still, if you're playing a blue or yellow leader, I just need to win differently against everybody else. So if you're trying to be creative and you want to play heavy energy costed and stay competitive, I think you really need to play Objection. Of course, you run into the main deck's Dende, but I feel like that's not really going to be a problem because they have to waste 3 energies to nuke 1 of your energy. So that's fine with me. The main reason why I play this card over more Infernal Villainy Cells, I don't play 3. You'll see later. Yeah, the reason why I play this is because of Demagra. Demagra can't combo with this card from your hand, and it actually did come up because I had like 2 or 1 of these in my hand against Demagra, and they couldn't combo with this, so that let me come back because this card like lets me draw a card deeper into my deck. Then I play 2-dimensional magic. I think this is way better than Whis Coercion, just because you're playing a blue leader. But Whis Coercion is probably better if you're not playing a blue leader. So it's really good because I can just tap out safely and then untap 2 energy. So I feel very safe. I just feel very safe having this in my hand. Plus, I use this against like cards that are heavy and big, so like I won't have to combo so much, and then they think they got me, but I can just tap out safely and then play this and then not die, which is cool. And then tap 2 more energy. And I play Mafuba. This actually helped me not die as well too against many different cards, just because this is a very sneaky card, because if they play cards that are big and that has like dual attack or triple attack, Mafuba just shuts it off. So against Shenron, if they get a triple attack, and just Mafuba, and then that's it. So that's really cool. Yeah, so that's my extra cards. I have a pretty good amount of extra cards in here, so it helps me not die against even forcing hit if anybody still plays that. And of course, I play my favorite little engine. I really like this little engine here for every World Martial Art leader, just because you draw so much with play-by-play, and on top of that, you also negate an attack. So he's like a Master Roshi, Iron of Will. So really cool. I really like that about having the versatility option with this, and then being able to search your top decks for your components so that you could play the 2 cards that synergize with each other. Namely, in this case, it's the Pan and the Hercule combo. Where's he at? There. So this helps you see these, and it also helps you see your super combo. And of course, you can see this guy too in late game scenarios. So I think this little engine is really, I really love World Martial Art. It's really good. Okay, and then of course I play Black Messian. I think you can't get away from not playing it in your main deck anymore, because there's just so many cards that just bring itself in from skills, so that aren't keywords. So definitely play 3 of these, and it helps you awaken too. So there's just no reason not to play it. And then I play Infernal Villain Cell as my last 3 cards. Yeah, there's not much to say about him. He goes deep in tree deck, defends your Vegetos. So that was a deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a really cool leader. I would definitely play him again in the near future. I don't know. I have a mission to play every leader in the game, and I'm more than halfway done with all the leaders, but I can only do so much with my time constraints. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. Peace out.